This is the Kigali International Financial Center, the venue of the Inclusive Fintech Summit 2023 in Rwandan capital. It's been 2 days of discussions here between big names within the African fintech space and the capital markets, folks bringing finance and fintech together under the same umbrella. But today, the second day, we've heard more from policymakers, the presidents of Rwanda, as well as that of Zambia. Of course, the whole conversation is a whole lot more about how to provide needed funding to support Africa's burgeoning fintech summit. And that requires critical policies from the government. And that was what the host president, Paul Kagame, spoke about.
Across the continent, more jobs, wealth, and opportunities are being created. At the helm of Africa's fintech industry is a young and rapidly growing population ready to innovate solutions and drive financial inclusion. Africa's demographic dividend has not gone unnoticed by investors who, in recent years, have increased financing to African fintechs. Still, compared to the rest of the world, Africa has produced a small number of unicorns, and the majority of transactions remain cash-based. To sustain the gains already made, we must forge stronger partnerships and build a more equitable, accessible, and sustainable fintech ecosystem. The digital economy is not a zero-sum game. Everyone should benefit from its potential.
Now, the whole essence of the government is to support the private sector move forward as shortly as possible as far as funding and policies and actions are concerned. So the Zambian president, Hakainde Hichilema, believes that the private sector should go beyond providing a wish list to government, but be specific in terms of laws, rules, and regulations or policies they will want to change for the benefit of their sectors, in particular for the fintech community.
We in the public sector, I come from the private sector. My life was spent in the private sector. But now that I'm in the public sector, I would like to drive a point very clear here. The private sector must take the lead and say what it wants the public sector to do for it. You can't have a generic wish list in these situations. You have to have, yes, a generic one, but drive down to specifics. And then the key areas. Just analyze the legal framework in your country, in our countries as a private sector operator, see how it affects your business, drill down to that particular law, that particular regulation, and then table it for discussion with those that are able to change that law, that regulation. That's what I would like to see more from the private sector. And then we can keep partners.
Well, a greater part of the conversation here are the Inclusive Fintech Summit 2023 in Kigali was also devoted to women inclusivity in the private sector, in particular the fintech community. There's a need to grow more women who will get venture capital funding to support their businesses and more of the female CEOs in the C-suite of fintech big organizations. And that sitting down and bringing women into fintech was what Her Excellency, the First Lady of Rwanda, spoke about.
I share your conviction that fintech can bridge the existing gaps in financial inclusion, even more so with AI revolutionizing the worlds of finance, technology, and a number of other industries central to our development. Fintech can and will spur economic growth and financial stability for our continent's skilled, youthful communities in line with global frameworks for sustainable development. Rwanda has taken encouraging steps in gender mainstreaming, gender-responsive budgeting, and ensuring female representation at all levels of leadership. But of course, this isn't enough. Financial backing for women-led fintech solutions must carry strong, compelling incentives, not because women are in need of assistance, but because equality is their legitimate right. After all, it's all about the brain, which all men and women possess. It would be a shame and a failure not to gain from their equal capabilities. We believe that inclusion must be intentional, systematic, and yes, compulsory to prevent the waste of talent, skills, and expertise. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to repeat this by limiting the space for women in finance and technology. We are not just failing women, but we are failing everyone.
Now, the Inclusive Fintech Summit 2023 enters its final day, Thursday, the 22nd of June. And we'll be having more presentations and closing remarks from some of the big names in the industry across Africa. And of course, we'll be able to bring to the table what has been achieved over the past 3 days. Reporting from Kigali, Rwanda, I am Bosin Amofaye for Arise News Channel.